Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mary and today's video is going to be my Sorry Picks, my TBR for the month of February. I mentioned this last time, but I changed my rules for this game this year, so I'm gonna only be using 4 card picks to pick my sorry TBR, and then I'll add books on as I need them for other readathons that I'm doing. This month I am participating in the X's and O's readathon, which is hosted by, I think her name is Jess. I'm really sorry. I will have the people who are hosting that linked down below in their announcement video. It's just for the first couple of days in February. I don't know all the information, but there are a couple of prompts. There are teams. It seems really fun. So I picked a team and picked some prompts, and you will see those books here in a minute. I have timestamps below if you don't care about the sorry portion or whatever. I'm also participating in Buzzwordathon again in February, so I will be talking about my picks for that as well. But without further ado, let's just get into my first pick for this round of sorry. Okay. So we're starting over here on new release, which is where we left off last time. And let's see what the first card is. Move forward 11. Nonfiction. So the first prompt that I landed on was to read a nonfiction, and for this I'm actually going to be reading A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. I believe this is about the Appalachian Trail, yes. And Bill Bryson has written a couple of other books, like nonfiction books that I'm interested in reading. And I don't know that I've read any of his books yet. I thought I had, but now that I'm thinking about it, I really can't remember. I did take environmental science in high school as my elective science course my senior year, and I know this was one of the options for us to read. I ended up reading a book by Jane Goodall for that project. So this says, back in America after 20 years in Britain, Bill Bryson decided to reacquaint himself with his native country by walking the 2,100-mile Appalachian Trail, which stretches from Georgia to Maine. The AT offers an astonishing landscape of silent forests and sparkling lakes, and to a writer with the comic genius of Bill Bryson, it also provides endless opportunities to witness the majestic stillness of his fellow human beings. So I am really excited to read this. I've wanted to read this for a while, and I'm glad that I finally have the opportunity. Move forward 11 again. Murphy picks. The second prompt that I landed on for sorry was to let Murphy pick a book, and Murphy is my dog. He's actually a 5-year-old pit blue heeler border collie mix. We did his DNA test, and that is what he is. He's actually primarily border collie, which is very funny when you see this video. It doesn't look like border collie at all, but let's roll the clip and we can see what he picked. Okay, so this is Murphy. Hi, baby. We are gonna try to get him to pick one of these books. I know they're all blue. Can you sit? That's so good. So we're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna try to do this. We have his pepperoni round treats that he really likes. So I'm gonna set these on each of these books and then hopefully capture his opinion. Okay, so now they're facing this way. He's over there. Come on, Murph. Get a treat. Get one. Get a treat, Murph. Good job. So we're gonna read Man's Search for Meaning. So Murphy picked Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. I noticed after I set all the books out that they were all blue, and the reason I picked all of these books was because each of them could have fulfilled the Buzzwordathon prompt for this month, which is, I'll talk about it more in a second, but it's verbs. So spoiler alert, I am going to be reading this as part of that, because search is a verb. So this is, I believe, it's about Nazi death camps, and I think Viktor Frankl says he was a psychiatrist who labored in 4 different camps between 1942 and 1945, including Auschwitz, while his parents, brother, and pregnant wife perished. And I believe this is him talking about the atrocities that happened there, and also his theory that our primary drive in life is not pleasure, as Freud maintained, but the discovery and pursuit of what we personally find meaningful. And I think it's about him finding meaning in his life again after all these horrible things happened. So I'm really excited to read this. This, as you will see, is kind of a nonfiction heavy month for me. I've picked several nonfiction books. I didn't do that on purpose, but I am always looking forward to reading new nonfiction. Move forward 1. And that is a prize book. The next prompt that I landed on was to read a book that won a prize. I hope that makes sense. A prize book, I think is how I phrased it. But for this, I'm going to be reading I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. And this is a book that won the Nobel Peace Prize. Or I believe Malala Yousafzai won the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know if this book actually did. I don't know that much about the Nobel Peace Prize, to be honest with you. But this book is about Malala, who was shot by the Taliban when she was trying to attend school, when she was technically not allowed to, I believe in Afghanistan. I think that's right. But people didn't expect her to survive. She did survive, and now she does public speaking engagements. I've been wanting to read this book for years since it came out as well, and I'm glad I'm finally getting a shot at reading it. And the last one for this round, move forward 10 or backwards 1. So I could either have Murphy pick a second book, but I think since I'm already doing that prompt, I'm going to go ahead and move forward 10. And that is to read a classic. And the last prompt for this round of Sorry is to read a classic. And for this, I have so many nonfiction books on this TBR already that I wanted to give myself something that wasn't going to be too dense. It wasn't going to be too long, too arduous to get through. So I decided to go with A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, which is the first book in a series. It's called Earthsea, I guess, the series. And I believe Harry Potter was heavily inspired by this. At least that's what people who have read this and then also read Harry Potter have said. I don't know if that's the case, but I am excited to read this. I know Becca from Becca in the Books. Is that her channel name? I almost just called her Becca's Bookathon, which is her Readathon, but that's not her channel name at all. But I know she and her like group of, I think it's the Catch Up Book Club, I think they tried to read this whole series and they ended up DNFing it because they all hated it. So I'm curious to see how I'll feel about it. I know this is like children/young adult fantasy from the 60s, I want to say. I did read Left Hand of Darkness, which is an adult fantasy book by Ursula K. Le Guin from around the same time, and I enjoyed it, but I did find the writing not the easiest to get through and not like my favorite style. So I'm excited to see how I feel about this, and I am looking forward to having an update for you. I picked this also because it's under 200 pages and it was written for kids. So I feel like it shouldn't be that hard for me to read. And that is it for Sorry. So I'm going to move ahead into the books that I'm reading for Buzzwordathon this month. And then I will also move into the books that I'm reading for the X's and O Readathon after that. I'm reading all 3 of these for Buzzwordathon. I'm not adding anything else to this. TBR, I do have other things that I could read, but I feel like 3 is plenty. So A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson is, you know, you're walking in the woods. I Am Malala, to be is a verb, so I'm gonna use that. And also Man's Search for Meaning. So to search is a verb. I realize that this is very nonfiction heavy because that's all I'm reading for this readathon this month. So I will have a vlog up. I have my Buzzwordathon vlog for January already up. I will link it if you missed it, but I will be doing a vlog of me reading all of these books. So hopefully it'll be informative, and I plan on extending Buzzwordathon so I'm not just reading these books all at the same time. I'm probably going to read like 1 per week because they are all nonfiction, and I want to give each one its best shot at leaving an impact on me. So for the X's and O's readathon, there are 2 teams, and I have all of their prompts written down. There's a buddy read for this readathon that I don't think I'm going to get on time for my library because I'm 13th in line right now for the hold, and I want to say they said it was going to be like 12 weeks. So I probably won't be reading that, but it's called X's and O's by Amy Lee. It's the 2nd book in a series. I talked about it in my January new releases video, so I'll link that if you missed it. But it's a series of standalone romances, so it's not that big of a deal. But they have Team X, which has the prompts Forced Proximity, Book with a Red Cover, and Match a Conversation Heart to the title. And they have several conversation hearts such as Swipe Left, Bite Me, No, Go Away, Can You Not? Okay. And then Team O, which is the team that I've decided to join, and they have the prompts 1, Friends to Lovers, 2, Pink on the Cover, and 3, Conversation Hearts again, but their conversation heart phrases are soulmate, you and me, love yourself, be mine, so fine. So I, like I said, chose to be on Team O, and for the first prompt, Friends to Lovers, I don't own any books that off the top of my head I know are Friends to Lovers stories. You could be looking at my shelves behind me and be like, yes you do, this one, this one, this one, this one, but I don't know that off the top of my head. I tried to look a little bit, and I wound up just going on a Goodreads list. Like people have categorized things by tropes, and I went through a Friends to Lovers trope list and found books that I've been wanting to read, and they actually are both part of series that I've started, so I think that's a good idea to like continue in those series. So my options for this are Take a Hint, Dani Brown, which is the 2nd book of the Brown Sisters trilogy. I read the 1st book a year or 2 ago, a while ago, honestly, but these are standalone romances that follow sisters. I believe Dani Brown is a PhD student, and she's not really looking for a relationship, and then something happens where like a professional rugby player has to like carry her out of a burning building, and then people start shipping them online, and the rugby player, I think, has like a nonprofit that's been like popping off since this video footage was found, and he wants to like keep the illusion going so that he can continue to fund his nonprofit. And so Dani goes along with it. And then Friends to Lovers, which honestly sounds like fake dating more so than Friends to Lovers, but it was on that trope list, so I'm putting it on there. The other one that showed up was the Heartstopper series, which is Friends to Lovers, and I know I've read the first 3 in a vlog I will link for you. So I think there are 2 more out now, maybe just 1, and the other one is coming out. I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna see which of those books are available at my library easier. So if there's an audiobook of Take a Hint, Dani Brown, I'll probably do that, but if my library has Heartstopper, that would also be a very easy read because they are graphic novels. They're about Nick and Charlie. There's a Netflix show now, which is very cute, and I do highly recommend. But it's about Nick and Charlie deciding, or like discovering their sexual. I think Charlie is already out. Nick is not out. He does not know that he's bi until like partway through the series. So he has this really beautiful like discovery moment, and it's about their relationship blossoming after they are friends, and then they become, well, not lovers. That sounds weird. They're in high school, but they become boyfriends, I guess. So those are my two options for that. Feel free to let me know down below which one of those you think I should prioritize or which one you would want to hear about from me. And then the second prompt, pink on the cover, I decided to go with The Switch by Beth O'Leary, which I've never read a Beth O'Leary before, but I've heard pretty good things. I think she has a show now or a movie for the Flatshare, which I have not seen or heard anything about. But this one is about a girl who, I guess it's about two characters. So Eileen, I think yes. Eileen is a grandmother, and she's 80 years old, and it says she's newly single, so I'm not sure if her husband has passed, or if she had a boyfriend that broke up with her, or she just got divorced, or what happened with that. It doesn't say, but she's about to turn 80, and she wants to find love again. And then her granddaughter lives in London, and she lives in Yorkshire, I want to say. Yes, in a tiny Yorkshire village. And then her granddaughter lives in London, and she like screws up a presentation, so her job gives her a 2-month sabbatical, and it's like, figure your life out. I don't know what you're doing. And so she and her grandmother decide that they're going to switch lives for 2 months while Lena, the granddaughter, is on her sabbatical. And I think it's about them both finding love in their opposite places. So it's kind of like The Holiday, if you saw that movie with Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet, which is one of my favorite movies. So I am very, very excited to read this, and it just seems like something I would like. So I'm excited to read that. It is a romance readathon, so I wanted to read a romance for it. And then I have another love-heavy book, which I was not expecting, but I'm excited to do this. The Conversation Hearts were the hardest ones for me to find, because if you are familiar with this channel, you know that I'm trying to read books that I own this year, right? So I'm putting an emphasis on books that I physically own, but I also have a Kindle that has books on it. And so for this, I'm going to read one of my Kindle books, which is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes, because You and Me was one of the things. And I feel like that counts. I don't know that much about what this is about. I've heard snippets of it not being the best representation for wheelchair users from Olivia's Catastrophe. So I'll try to find her video where she talks about this, or I'll just link her channel down below for you in case you want to like delve more into this topic. But I am going to read this book. It's one of my mom's favorite books, and I think there is a movie about it. So this says, Louisa is an ordinary girl living an exceedingly ordinary life, steady boyfriend, close family who has barely been farther afield than their tiny village. She takes a badly needed job working for ex-Master of the Universe, Will Traynor, who is wheelchair bound after an accident. Will has always lived a huge life, big deals, extreme sports, worldwide travel, and now he's pretty sure he cannot live the way he is. Will is acerbic, moody, bossy, but Lou refuses to treat him with kid gloves, and soon his happiness means more to her than she expected. When she learns that Will has shocking plans of his own, she sets out to show him that life is still worth living. That is the last book that I'm planning on reading this month. Those are all of the books. I believe that is 7 books in total that I'm going to be reading during the month of February, and then whatever else I mood read and throw in there. But let me know in the comments down below what you are reading in February. Also, let me know if you've read any of these books and how you felt about them, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!